Divers and people who spend a lot of time underwater. What's the creepiest/most unexplainable thing you've seen while in the depths? I had a dive master that told me once he was diving somewhere and found a full skeleton wearing diving gear with the air on the tank turned off pretty deep down. If I remember correctly, they said they reported it to the police and it was found out the man's wife turned off his air while they were on a dive to murder him. You can dive in man-made lakes and check out what's left of old flooded homes and communities. It's pretty dark and spooky down there no matter what, especially when you think of all the big fish swimming around that are barely silhouettes until they're close. My buddy likes to dive in lakes. He said the creepiest thing, by far, is finding cemeteries 100 feet and beneath the water in the dark, eerie quiet. I dropped my goggles and was trying to reach down in the river and grab it, but I pulled out a sheep skull by its sockets. Wasn't as creepy in hindsight, but 10-year-old me was scared. When living off the coast, some buddies and I would take regular fishing trips out to the oil rigs. We would always have some lines out and a few would dive down and try to spear some mangrove snapper or cobia. Once while I and two others were diving down checking out the structure, we decided we needed to move due to lack of life around the rig. We all get back in the boat, and as one of my buddies is reeling in a line, we had a red snapper baited on. An easily 8 to 10 feet tiger shark starts chewing on it right behind the prop, so close I could have poked his eye out. The idea that massive animal was in the water so close to me and two of my friends, but no one saw it, is terrifying. I bet he was watching us the whole time. Edit, grammar. When I was a kid swimming in the lake at summer camp, I dove underwater and I swear I saw someone in scuba gear hiding underneath the dock watching us. I told the lifeguard, but he wasn't able to find anyone. I used to teach canoeing lessons to Boy Scout troops at a local neighborhood lake. Super small lake that's not very deep, but the bottom was hella thick with vegetation. The water was dark, so you couldn't see your hands in front of you for more than like 5 inches under the surface. There was a small clubhouse, an open pavilion, and a playground, all on the property. When doing lifeguard work in the water during a swim test, my sunglasses fell off my head. I dove down to find them and shit you not, I found a sunken, entangled hospital gurney at the bottom of the lake. It took a few people to untangle it, but how the EFF it got there was beyond me. Clearly, it had been under the water for years. I've done a number of dives, and the strangest thing I ever saw was a large deep freezer with a heavy industrial chain wrapped around multiple times with about 5 cinder blocks attached. It was very, very rusted, and the deep freezer itself had to have been 30+ years old. Probably more. This was about 90 feet deep, just off Vancouver Island, Canada. The situation gave myself and the other divers the nooby-jeebies. Logged the GPS and depth coordinates and notified the police. We were able to find out what was inside, since one of the divers had friends with local police. 10 porcelain dolls. Edit, wording and typos. Not a diver, but heard from old divers that worked for the Corps of Engineers that there's some huge catfish around the bottom of the dams. Like the size of vans. Got charged by a mother humpback. Her curious calf had swum around us and we were between her and the calf. 2 of us never saw it coming. We were watching the baby, but our third diver watched her come. She kicked down and swam under us last minute. We didn't see anything until that 60 feet freight train passed just underneath us. I used to do a lot of night dives hunting for lobster off the coast of California. We'd start at 9 or 10 at night, so everything is obviously pitch black, besides where we were pointing our lights. Every so often I'd get this unshakable feeling that something big was watching or following me. Sometimes I could quiet that part of my brain and continue with the dive. Other times, I couldn't shake the feeling and would end the dive after a few minutes. It's a hard feeling to describe, but I guess I'd compare it to being in a haunted house, but 50 feet underwater in complete darkness. I once went diving in Port Elizabeth, South Africa, where it is quite popular to see sharks. We begin diving and we are quite far from the shore. There's a cool-looking structure under us. We swim towards it to get a closer look, and I just start getting this cold feeling running through my body. And that's when a shark appeared and I physically shat myself from fear. I once saw someone's escaped pet iguana swimming underwater at my local lake as a kid that scared the shit out of me. Does that count? Neither creepy nor inexplicable, but once on a night dive, I had a seal tag along and take advantage of my flashlight to do some night hunting. It was adorable, and the poor fish didn't stand a chance. Also because the sea sausage was completely comfortable, and taking advantage of me they were all up in my business a bunch, which was awkward, because as a rule you're not supposed to touch the animals for their safety and yours. In this case, I finally decided it was totally okay to push their fat ass when they were in my way.